MTN News. This is Positively Montana.
Hello, I'm Jill Valley, and welcome to MTN's Positively Montana. Every weekend, we're sharing stories from the heart of the Treasure State, showing real people doing good things and trying to make a difference in our communities. We're in Missoula, where an army of supporters are helping a teen battling cancer. In Bozeman, a Montana veteran is helping out her fellow comrades battling PTSD. A Shelby officer is awarded the Meritorious Service for her life-saving actions. And an 11-year-old Kalispell boy is helping kids battling cancer by donating his hair to make sure children have custom-fitted wigs. But first, as wildfires rage in central Montana, the White Sulphur Springs community is providing support for people affected by the Deep Creek fire.
A Red Cross evacuation center has been set up at the Senior Center here behind me in White Sulphur Springs in response to the Deep Creek Canyon wildfire. On Wednesday, a few people were here for breakfast and lunch, but other than that, the center was quiet. Wednesday morning, Chef Hal Martin was busy in the White Sulphur Springs Senior Center kitchen preparing sweet and sour chicken for lunch for people in need of a meal.
It's the least we could do to help people that have been displaced or help people that are fighting the fire, no matter what they're doing to help with this situation. It's our pleasure to feed whoever will come in.
The Senior Center isn't the only place providing meals for people in need during the fire. Stage Line Pizza in White Sulphur Springs provided pizza Tuesday night, and breakfast was ordered Wednesday morning from the Branding Iron, also in White Sulphur Springs. Branding Iron owner J.D. Walker was happy to fill the order.
It's a good feeling because we fully believe if we support the people will support us.
Walker said he is prepared to handle additional orders that come in as a result of the fire.
We kind of figured things would kind of blow up, so we did order in extra food and stuff for the week.
Back at the Senior Center kitchen,
it makes me feel very blessed that I'm in the position that I can do something like this, and it's all paying it forward, and it takes a village.
The Red Cross volunteers tell me the evacuation center will be open as long as necessary. In White Sulphur Springs, Colter Anstad, MTN News.
I'm Jordan Johnson here in Kalispell, where Connor Rogers is an 11-year-old boy, and he donated more than 12 inches of his own hair to Wigs for Kids.
He saw his father's friend donate hair, so he jumped in to grow out his hair a year ago.
So I was just like, I'm gonna grow out my hair and donate it.
Connor says he loves to help those children in need of hair for wigs.
Feels good that like someone else that has cancer or a disorder that lost all of their hair can actually have hair and my hair, and it just makes me feel really good.
Connor's mom says he's always been a compassionate child, and him growing out his hair and donating it really proved that to Megan Sistok.
You know, from the time he was an infant, I always said that he was a very passionate child. And this is just another incident, just another thing that really proved that to me. Because, you know, he mentioned that he really likes his hair now. And like his sister gave him an out and said, well, you don't have to cut it. And he, even today, and he says, nope. Says, I said I was gonna do it, and I'm gonna do it.
Wigs for Kids works with licensed hair technicians like Lindsay Comenda, a hairstylist at Amore Salon, to provide children who are losing their hair due to illnesses with custom-fitted wigs.
As far as Wigs for Kids, it's really important because children don't have the proper sizing and various other things of a more traditional fitted wig that you could purchase, so they have to be custom made.
Comenda says she views hair donations as the perfect way to allow children who are suffering with a little bit of normalcy.
You help them, you guide them, you make them feel wonderful, and you keep them feeling normal through a really hard and difficult time.
I'm very proud of you.
In Kalispell, Jordan Johnson, MTN News.
I'm Katie Miller in Missoula. The community is rallying behind a 13-year-old boy with pediatric cancer. I got the chance to catch up with Jack Berry as he undergoes treatment for the third time back in Boston.
The harder parts are obviously when you go in for the chemo, and then that stinks, but I've been feeling better like pretty quickly after I get done with that, and then get back to doing what I like to do. So
anybody that knows Jack Berry can tell you There's a lot this 13-year-old likes to do.
CrossFit, or playing tennis, or biking with Jack, or skiing, or hockey, or...
Much of that activity is on pause for now. Jack's in Boston with his family, undergoing a 3rd round of treatment for his osteosarcoma.
There's no way around it. Pediatric cancer is horrible.
But the family's maintaining a positive attitude, staying active, visiting the beach, playing tennis, and seeing the Red Sox.
I mean, obviously I want to be like with my friends and like, you know, just going to high school on the first day. But I mean, like at some point you just have to come to terms with like, you can't, and you know, your life isn't like the normal, like 13-year-old life. And I mean, like, that's fine for me. I feel like I've come to terms with that a while ago, but it is kind of hard to just like to not be doing what my friends are doing, or like, you know, but I think we do pretty well with enjoying our time here.
And Missoula is coming out in waves of support.
People are going out and doing beautiful things and enjoying days.
Climb for Jack on Facebook is inspiring people to get out and do all kinds of activities Jack can't do while he's away.
Like someone could go ride up a mountain for me, or like, you know, float the river for me. That's like really cool, and it helps me to kind of feel like I'm there in a way.
And there's a visible show of support back here in Missoula, especially in the Patty Canyon area, where all of the homes are lined with these Jack's Army signs. It's a testament to the loving, caring community that's waiting for the Berry family to return home.
People have come to me asking, how can I support the Berries? And I'm like, oh, how do you know the Berries? And they go, I don't know the Berries, but they are amazing from what I've heard about Jack and da-da-da.
Family friend Elizabeth Fricky says they've sold out 200 signs to help support the family.
So many different communities that they've touched.
Jack's dad, Cooper, is a firefighter with Missoula Rural Fire. Captain Corey Burgess says the whole station misses them.
Basically, our goal is just to make it so that Cooper doesn't have to think about work, so he can focus completely on his family, and we have guys step up and cover all of his shifts for him so that he can be 100% with his family.
We'll keep our family together and we'll get through this one way or another, but those guys have made it so easy.
It hasn't all been easy, but no matter how hard the treatment gets, the Berry family is looking forward to the future as Jack starts high school in the fall.
Still a long road ahead of us, getting through this treatment cycle, and but our heads are good and we're strong, and Jackie's super strong, and we're feeling positive and hopeful, and we miss Missoula, and we love all the support, and we can't wait to get home.
In Missoula, Katie Miller, MTN News.
Brand new furniture can be costly. Bed sets complete with mattresses and sheets, up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars. For struggling families, that may be too much to give children a bed, but Sleep in Heavenly Peace is here to help.
I think it's just about the tangibleness of what we're doing. The building and giving of beds to kids is just such a great feeling.
The security and sense of well-being a bed can bring to a child is centric to the mission of Sleep in Heavenly Peace. Annually, the Bunks Across America event brings volunteers out to construct hand-built beds. On Saturday, in the parking lot of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on Bancroft in Missoula, a few dozen volunteers participated.
We bring all of the knowledge and oversight tools, all of the things that you'd need to build a bed. We bring those to the location. Volunteers show up, and we just put them to work.
Step by step, these volunteers sand, drill, saw, stain, and even brand the pieces that are needed to build a place for a child to sleep.
Today, our goal is to build 20 beds for local kids, which is awesome. We serve Missoula, Frenchtown, Bonner, and the Lolo area, so any family can apply. That's a need, and hopefully one of these beds will get to them soon. So.
Those in need can apply online to receive a free bed, frame, mattress, and bedding, and throughout the year, volunteers deliver.
Being able to provide them a brand new bed that was built just for them is really a special thing. And for these children, I think they just feel, like, wow, this was made for me. So.
Bedlessness is a reality for many.
It's actually something that is pretty common. We have a lot of families that have been transitioning out of homelessness into, permanent housing, and so.
Several members of the LDS Church helped out, along with providing the space.
I'm so ready for it. I've been looking forward to this for a while.
Hansen said her experience does not include manual labor.
Some of the guys are just telling me about like drills and like you got to put your shoulder into it because my drills were not like the nail was not going into the wood at all, and so I was like, oh no. So yeah, they're teaching me a lot of good stuff, so maybe it'll be helpful in the future.
After a long day building, when these volunteers head to bed, they'll go to sleep knowing they helped a child do the same.
You know what? I know I did something good today, and I know it's helping. It's a domino effect.
Now, the pieces built on site today, they won't be turned into complete bunk bed sets yet. They'll be completed on site to help families in need. In Missoula, Geneva Zoltek, MTN News.
More stories from the heart of the Treasure State are on the way when Positively Montana continues after this. Welcome back to Positively Montana.
Law enforcement officials face challenges every day in the field, and it was no different for one police officer under the Montana Department of Transportation whose actions earned the Meritorious Service Award by Governor Greg Gianforte. Emotions ran high for the Lubke family as they witnessed their own daughter
What hurts? Everything. Okay, everything.
carry a trapped passenger from a burning vehicle to safety.
I was just thinking about making sure that everybody was safe and controlling the scene. You know, trying to put out the fire if I could, if not, get everybody out and make sure that they're far enough away that they're going to be safe.
Corporal Sarah Lubke of the Montana Department of Transportation was the first on the scene of a multiple vehicle crash north of Conrad on I-15 involving 2 semis and 2 passenger vehicles.
Is everybody out?
She quickly tried to subdue the fire and grabbed a passenger before the vehicle engulfed in flames.
Tragically, there were 2 fatalities in this as a result of the crash, but there is no doubt that Corporal Lubke's actions saved others from that same tragic fate.
Governor Gianforte awarded Corporal Lubke the Meritorious Service Award for her heroic actions that day.
My thinking is I was just doing my job, but it is nice to get recognized.
Family and co-workers were on hand to see Lubke receive her award. Her supervisor also witnessed the proud moment.
To see one of our own, especially motor carrier services officers, do something like that, it just makes you very proud for her and also for the agency. I mean, any agency would be proud of her to watch someone like that do a heroic effort to save the lives of those people.
In Helena, Alexi Guayo, MTN News.
Unsung Heroes worked tirelessly throughout the pandemic to bring comfort to residents at Springs Assisted Living in Whitefish.
They were so good to me. Everybody was. And we all, most all of us stayed well.
Sherry Millward and Dondi Fisher went above and beyond during the pandemic to keep their more than 70 residents at Springs Assisted Living safe and happy.
To ensure that their needs are met and their well-being is our priority. So we just do what's needed.
Dondi Fisher is the executive chef at Springs Living, making close to 270 meals a day.
They come from a generation of comfort where it's meat, potatoes, and vegetable, and pie on Sundays.
Dondi works long hours in the kitchen making comfort meals that bring joy to her residents, giving them something to look forward to every day.
They're an extension of your family, and you can't help but just pour in that labor of love because you love them.
She tried to make us all happy by her cooking.
Resident Donna Benson says Dondi's homemade pies were her favorite comfort dish during the pandemic.
Piece of pie once every week, so that always made us feel good too.
Sherry Millward is a medication aide to residents at Spring Living. She says it was a complete team effort throughout the pandemic to make sure all residents receive proper medication in a safe and effective way.
Working as a team makes everything so much easier, and yeah, it's a team effort here completely.
When delivering medicine, Sherry connects with all her residents on a personal level, becoming fast friends. Dondi says it's awe-inspiring seeing firsthand how much care and effort Sherry puts into her work.
She does whatever it takes to ensure that our residents are happy, jokes with them. She's just so personal to them because she cares.
Dondi says she couldn't imagine working anywhere else.
It's a humble experience doing what we do here. And all of us are here for the same reason, and that's for our residents and each other.
Yes, they're my friends.
In Whitefish, Sean Wells, MTN News.
A student that doesn't have proper school supplies at the beginning of the year can fall weeks behind their peers. A Helena area nonprofit is working to make sure that every student starts on a level playing field. For more than a decade, Stuff the Bus has been collecting school supplies to help area students and families that may have financial difficulties. Organizers say the need is greater than ever, especially with many families still feeling the financial impacts of the pandemic.
Last year was the first year that we just had monetary grants, and we had 28 schools apply for grants, and the requests were over $50,000 that came in. So we're anticipating this year it will be at least that high.
Depending on the age, school supplies can cost a family around $100 per student, money that can be hard to find on a tight budget. Stuff the Bus makes sure those students have school supplies day one, which can also be a good confidence booster for kids. Thousands of students receive support from Stuff the Bus, and Helena High Principal Steve Tennis says students would fall through the cracks without this community support.
It would be hit and miss, I think, unfortunately. I mean, this casts a really broad net over getting foundational supplies for every kid where, if it's left up to the classroom instructor to get those things, our budgets are pretty tight, and we don't have enough to go around.
Tennis added he sees success stories every year of students that receive support from Stuff the Bus. Educators always hope that the next generation will do better than the last. And one of the greatest gifts education offers is the ability for every student, no matter where they came from, to chart their own future. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
Positively Montana continues after this.
If there's one thing Montana native Dee Dee Baker knows, it's how tough life after war can be for some veterans. Her husband battles PTSD after serving 21 years with the Montana National Guard, but did notice he'd get some sense of relief whenever he was with his dogs.
I brought it to his attention. I said, I don't know if you realize what this dog is doing for you. And the conversation kind of led more down the road of, it'd be really cool if we could help other veterans. And what if we could save dogs and they could just go through training?
That kitchen table conversation turned into what is now known as Dog Tag Buddies, which is a nonprofit organization that pairs veterans living with hidden injuries and rescue dogs together. That mission has since served 60 veterans across the state, and most recently a Bozeman local.
We find great and deserving veterans, and we get dogs into their hands as fast as possible. And I think that is what we're going to do today, right?
That is. Fairway's Bozeman branch capped off Tuesday's Montana Real Estate Summit by gifting 15-year military veteran Laura Alley with her new service dog Frank, who was named after America's last known World War I veteran Frank Buckles. Her and Frank will be working with trainers over the next 30-plus weeks.
I'm getting as much of a training as the dog is, and we're both rescues, so that worked.
We want them to not feel isolated. We want them to feel like they're a part of something bigger. So coming to training once a week and working with their dog and then going home and working with it the rest of the week, it's giving them the opportunity to fulfill a mission that they didn't know that they were going to be fulfilling.
Laura's new companion Frank was gifted by Fairway's branch sales manager Chris Opstettel, who donated $10,000 to make Tuesday's surprise a reality.
It's been a long trip, and I feel like I'm finally home. So yeah, this is wonderful.
She was also gifted a $5,000 grant from the American Warrior Initiative to help with any expenses she may encounter while traveling back and forth to Helena for service dog training. Reporting in Bozeman, Ashley Washburn, MTN News.
After a tough start in life, a group of cats in Helena are desperately looking for their forever home.
They came to us after a hoarding situation. Their owner passed away, and it was discovered that there were multiple cats living in a residence, and so they made it to us since there was no one else to care for them.
14 cats in all. They're known as the Bakery Bunch. They range from less than a year old to 7 years old, and they're all named after pies, like Pumpkin here, or Cherry, who's recovering from being spayed.
They're all different and unique, and they all have kind of different things to bring to the table, and that's, I think, why we love them so much.
There's something else that makes the Bakery Bunch a little different. They're FIV positive.
Basically, it's like an autoimmune issue where they can't fight off illnesses as well as cats that are negative can.
Now, don't let that count these guys out if you're thinking of adopting. They can still live long, happy lives. FIV only passes from cat to cat through skin-breaking bites. It can't pass to dogs or other animals. And
there's no way that we can get it. So I think that takes away a lot of the scare for a lot of people, hopefully.
The Bakery Bunch came to the Lewis and Clark Humane Society in pretty bad shape.
A lot of these guys were severely underweight. They were just in really bad shape. We had one cat whose eyes were so gooped up from an infection that they were completely crusted over. We weren't sure she had eyes to begin with.
But now, a month later, they're thriving.
We've got some that are very eager for affection and others that are a little bit more nervous. They may not have had as much attention as these guys.
But something each one of the Bakery Bunch is eager for, a family and a forever home to call their own. In Helena, Marion Davidson, MTN News.
And before we leave you today, a Ronan woman is credited for getting a boy and his caretaker out of harm's way after the pair encountered a large black bear while out walking on Terrace Lake Road in Ronan last weekend. Karina Wedrick posted her thanks on the Mission Valley Safety Awareness page after this encounter. Her 7-year-old son and his babysitter were walking to a friend's house in Ronan when it appears they startled a big black bear that was in the bushes, who then started running towards them. Well, that's when Stephanie Perry, who was driving down the road at that exact time, saw them. And she told me what happened next.
So when I was coming down the road, I saw these two people and I couldn't make them out at first, but they were running and they were in kind of a run where they were panicked a little bit, like they were scared. So I got closer and all of a sudden I looked over and I thought it was a dog, but it happened to be a big black bear. They were scared. I felt bad. And I got them in the car and asked them if they were okay. And they're like, now that we're in the car, we're better.
CSKT Wildlife Management recently posted about the increased bear activity along the entire Mission Mountain front. Stephanie says she was just glad she was there, the right place at the right time to help. Well, that does it for this week's Positively Montana. We really hope you enjoyed this look at the good things happening in our state every day. You can find more Positively Montana stories on your local MTN website, along with a chance to submit your own story ideas. For now, I'm Jill Valley, and have a great day.